local Coca-Cola bottlers and retailers. Coke is it.
Call it the Umbrella Bowl, if you will. It's a perfectly miserable, rainy afternoon at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City. But we've still got lots of Big Ten football. The Iowa Hawkeyes against the Purdue Boilermakers. Hi, everybody. Bob Hogue, along with Bill Whistler. And, Bill, you can probably remember games played in the rain. How tough is it to play in wet weather like this?
Well, Bob, it's not that difficult, really, especially with the modern conveniences we have of artificial turf. If we were playing on regular grass, it would be a little bit slippery out there, and turf would be coming up and flying all around. But the fact that we're going to play on artificial turf, there shouldn't be much problem with the footing out there.
The Iowa Hawkeyes, of course, have had their troubles over the years with the Boilermakers. What do they have to do here this afternoon?
The big thing I think they have to do is to control the football, Bob. They've got to keep Purdue's offense on the sideline. They've got an outstanding quarterback in Scott Campbell. They've got some good receivers. They've got a good running back in Mel Gray, and we've got to keep that offense on the sidelines and hopefully control the football.
Iowa, Purdue, and the rain. The kickoff coming up after these words on the Iowa Television Network. Very hard here at kickoff. Iowa won the toss, but they will make their choice in the second half. Purdue will receive, defend the south goal. John Relf kicking off for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Back deep for Purdue, Lloyd Hawthorne and Rod Woodson. And we're underway on a very wet day at Kinnick Stadium, and a fair catch is called for by Bruce King, a backup fullback, back at the 13-yard line. Some of the very wet crowd here. This is the 60th meeting, and Purdue, of course, leads the series big, 40-17. There have been two ties. Iowa won the first game in 1910, but Purdue won 20 straight in the series until Iowa's victory in 1981. Last year, Purdue won it 16-7. Scott Campbell will start at quarterback for Purdue. He's had an inconsistent senior year after flashes of brilliance as a sophomore and as a junior. He'll throw on first down. His pass incomplete, intended for his tight end, Cliff Benson. But you'll see the bad footing. It's been raining almost solidly for the past 12 hours or so. They came out onto the field about an hour or so ago and with squeegees, an exercise in futility because it just kept raining very, very hard. In the backfield, behind Campbell, his fullback, Eric Jordan, number 20. The tailback is Melvin Gray, number 32. Second down, 10. Draw play to Gray. And Gray is brought down by Larry Station. Station has him across the 15-yard line to the 17. So a gain of 4. It'll be third down and 6. The starting receivers for Purdue, Cliff Benson, number 81 at tight end. The wide receiver, David Rutherford, number 48. The flanker is Jeff Price, number 88. The line, Paul Aleka, Alex Oslager at the guard, Butch Alder at center, Dave Jamott, and Mark Drent. Third down, 6. Just the start of the ball game. Campbell to throw. Complete to Rutherford for a first down across the 30-yard line to the 33, brought down by Mike Stutz. Let's set that Iowa defense for you. Starting at the defensive ends, Tony Wankett and Mike Hooks. The starting tackles, Joe Schuster, just a freshman, playing instead of Paul Hufford, who's injured, and George Little. The nose guard is Hap Peterson. The linebackers, Larry Station and Eric Hedgman. The defensive backs, Kenny Sims, Mike Stoops, Devon Mitchell, and Nate Creer. First and 10 Boilermakers after they pick up the first down of the ball game. Campbell will throw. Got a back out of the backfield. Richard Bruner. A gain of 4, and we have a penalty marker down, brought down by Eric Hedgman. Well, Bill Whistler, Purdue not afraid to throw despite the fact that terrible conditions.
They've come out throwing the football right away here. They've tried to hit some intermediate passes there behind the linebacker. This time, we see them throwing in front of the linebackers to a back out of the backfield. They're not afraid to throw the football, and it's kind of surprising this early in the football game.
The officials talking it over with Larry Station. As you watch the raindrops, boy, is the rain accumulating out there, and it just continues to come down harder. The forecast had been for light rain and temperatures in the 50s, but it is much worse than that. So the penalty marked off against Purdue, a 5-yard mark-off. It'll be 1st and 15. Iowa comes in 4-1, 2-1 in the Big Ten. Purdue 1-3-1. They are 1-1-1 in the league. Iowa ranked 13th in one poll, 14th in the other. Campbell will throw on 1st and 15. And what a stick by Nate Crayer on Jeff Price. And they'll give him the complete pass for a gain of 4.
This is just a short 3-step drop by the Purdue quarterback, and fires out the wide receiver, gets a big hit there by the defensive back for Iowa, and fumbles the ball, but they did rule that he had completion of the ball, and it's Purdue's football.
Purdue will shuffle in their receivers, so you're going to see a lot of guys like Steve Griffin, Marty Scott, and Richard Bruner, as well as Price, Benson, and Rutherford. 2nd down 11 after a gain of 4. Here comes Iowa on the blitz. And they complete the pass for another short gain. That's Rutherford.
Iowa was in a blitzing situation. Campbell's forced to get rid of the ball very quickly, but Iowa reacts quick and makes a quick stop.
Mike Stoops made the stop that time. Gain of just 3. It'll be 3rd down and 8. Third and 8 for the Purdue Boilermakers. They picked up 1 first down. Campbell to Rutherford. Incomplete. In and out of his hand at the Iowa 44-yard line, covered by Ron Hawley.
Drop back pass here by Campbell, and tries to hit the deep receiver in the zone coverage by Iowa, and just out of the fingertips, or else it would have been a first down for Purdue.
So Purdue will punt on 4th down and 8. Walt Trapeza, a left footer, and he gets off a high one. Robert Smith, who's had some troubles, has no trouble with that one. And the crowd roars as Iowa starts off with good field position at the 30-yard line. The coaches in the ball game today, Hayden Fry in his 5th year, and of course his 22nd year as a collegiate head coach. Fry is just 1-4-1 against the Purdue Boilermakers. His only victory a couple of years ago when Iowa went to the Rose Bowl. And Leon Burtnett in his 2nd year at Purdue and his 2nd year as a collegiate head coach has a career record of just 4-11-1. But he beat Hayden Fry and the Hawkeyes last year 16-7. Chuck Long on 1st down has his pass tipped away. Incomplete pass intended for Ronnie Harmon. Let's set the Iowa starters for you. Chuck Long, the nation's leading passer at quarterback. The fullback is Norm Granger. The tailback, Eddie Phillips. The wideouts, Ronnie Harmon and Dave Bortz. The tight end is Jonathan Hayes. The line, John Alt, Tim Hanna, Joel Hilgenberg, John Relk, and Joe Labellas. So an incomplete pass on 1st down. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Iowa Hawkeyes. They have Harmon split to the near side, Morch to the far sideline. Straight ahead handoff to Eddie Phillips, and he's hit immediately by number 92, Brad Horner. Horner, a backup nose guard for the Boilermaker defense. And let's set the starters for the Boilermakers. At defensive ends, Derek Hoskins, number 53, and number 86, Andy Glasto. The tackles are Melvin Menke, number 91, and number 99, Chris Scott. And rotating at nose guard will be Kevin Hawley, number 63, and number 92, Brad Horner, who was in on that play. A gain of 2, 3rd down and 8 for the Hawkeyes, split backfield. And Long checks out as the Hawkeyes go into the eye. And again, it's Phillips, and again, Horner's right there, along with Chris Scott. A loss of 2. It'll be 4th down. the rest of the Purdue defense, Brock Spack and Kevin Sumlin, the linebackers. The corners are Don Anderson and Ray Wallace, and the safeties are Kennedy Wilson and Rod Woodson. But that defense will leave the field as Tom Nickel will punt now. 4th down and 10. He's back at the 17-yard line. Steve Griffin is back deep for the Boilermakers. And they're kicking away from it. The ball sails to him anyway. Here's Griffin. Nowhere to go. He stopped at the 32-yard line.
That was really good coverage on the part of Iowa's punt cover team. Nichols did hit a line drive, and normally in that situation, there's not, usually gives the other team a good chance to return the ball, but Iowa covered very well on that, and there was no run back on that play.
1st and 10 Boilermakers. 10:20 left to play here in the first period. The ball at the 33-yard line. Campbell to throw yet again. Completes the pass across the 35-yard line to the 37. Jeff Price on the reception, brought down by Kenny Sims. But Purdue is just attacking really the short zone of the Iowa defense.
They're running those short patterns in there, and what Iowa has to do is put a little bit more pressure on that quarterback and make him throw a little quicker.
Campbell 4 of 6 for 26 yards. Gives you an indication of the short passing game of the Boilermakers. 2nd down 6. And Mel Gray dances into the Iowa secondary. He's got the 1st down across the 45 to the 46-yard line, brought down by Mike Stoops.
Just a tailback draw to Mel Gray, their fine tailback. Purdue is a darn good football team. They had some tough games early in the season. They got blown out by Miami, Ohio, Notre Dame, and a tough game last week against Ohio State, but they played pretty well.
They beat Minnesota and tied Michigan State in between those 3 losses. 1st and 10 Purdue at their own 46-yard line. Draw play. Eric Jordan. Jordan finds some running room before Larry Station finds him in Iowa territory at the 47-yard line. But a good pickup on 1st down by the fullback Eric Jordan.
Just a fullback draw. They fake the pass and give the ball to Mel Gray there. Picks up good yardage, and he gets in the secondary. Good yardage by Purdue.
Jordan's a senior running back, as is Mel Gray. Gray's not a very big guy, just 5'9", 175 pounds. And Eric Jordan, certainly not your classic fullback at just 6 foot 190. Gain of 8, 2nd down 2 for the Boilermakers. 2nd possession. And here's Jordan again. He's got the 1st down. Down to the 42-yard line. Eric Hedgeman makes the tackle for the Iowa defense. The one area that Purdue has really improved upon is turnovers. They had 7 turnovers against Notre Dame, 5 against Miami of Florida, but then decreased it to 4 against Minnesota, 3 against Michigan State. They had none in their tough loss to Ohio State last week. They played Ohio State very, very close. Ohio State won that game because they ran back 2 punts for touchdowns. 1st and 10 Boilermakers in Iowa territory. Dump it off to the tight end, Cliff Benson. And Benson's got it for a gain of 5. Eric Hedgeman makes the tackle for the Iowa Hawkeyes, but I'm not sure whether Iowa has to come up just a little bit closer or whether they're willing just to give that yardage to them.
They're throwing right in front of the linebackers right now. Purdue seems to be working against Iowa's left side of the defense. Iowa's got 2 young new players in there, Eric Hedgeman and Drost, who have replaced the original starters, Paul Hufford and Kevin Spitzig or Yakula.
2nd down 4. I formation for the Boilermakers. Tailback Mel Gray. And he's hit just as he crosses the line of scrimmage by Tony Wankin. And he'll gain 3, so it'll be 3rd down and 1. Eric Hedgeman also helps out. Gray already 3 carries for 17 yards. And Jordan twice for 12. Turkey looks a little worried at this point. The very early moments of the ball game. The crowd trying to urge on this young Hawkeye defense. 3rd down 1. It's Mel Gray. He's got the 1st down and more. Mel Gray brought down at the 14-yard line by Devon Mitchell. But Mel Gray threatened to go all the way.
This is a trap against Iowa, and they're working on that right side, and they break Mel Gray through the secondary, and there he picks up big yardage and just about breaks for the touchdown.
Not only tough to run, but it is tough to tackle when it's this damp out. The Boilermaker band. 1st and 10 Boilermakers, deep in Iowa territory at the 14-yard line. Midway through the first period. Gray again. Gray inside the 5. And he's knocked out of bounds at the 4. Very close to another first down by Kenny Sims. Just shy of that first down marker.
Just the same type of play by Purdue again. They kick out on the defensive end, and Gray gets up in there and picks up good yardage.
And you see Gray already averaging over 9 yards a carry. And the officials are going to take a look at it. Actually, I think they need to change just to mark the exact placement of the football. It'll be 2nd down and inches. There have been some comments in West Lafayette that this was a suspect offensive line. They've done quite a bit of juggling in the early part of the season, moving one of the tackles over to a guard, moving one of the guards to a tackle, a guard to a center. But they're blowing out the Hawkeyes, at least in the early part of this ball game. They're working on the youngsters, the Iowa defense. 2nd and inches. It's Bruce King. And he's racked up right at the line of scrimmage, but I believe he has enough for a first down. Yes, he does. 1st and goal, Boilermakers, inside the 4. Mark the football right at the 3-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal, Boilermakers. Good look at Scott Campbell. Some considered him a Heisman candidate coming into his senior year, but he's not had Heisman numbers. 1st and goal. Mel Gray dancing down to the 1. Boy, a very elusive runner, isn't he?
Right now, Purdue is controlling that line of scrimmage. They're coming off the ball real strong and really controlling the line of scrimmage, which is reason for Purdue being able to run the football well right now against Iowa's defensive line.
And Iowa puts in an extra defensive lineman, John Breeze, a backup nose guard, replaces Devon Mitchell. The goal line defense, the ball at the 1-yard line, 2nd down and goal for the Purdue Boilermakers midway through the first quarter. Campbell, quarterback sneak, touchdown Purdue. An 11-play, 67-yard drive by the Purdue Boilermakers, who stay almost exclusively on the ground. And Scott Campbell goes in from the 1, and Purdue is on the scoreboard. Tim Clark in to attempt the extra point. Clark, a senior kicker, and his kick is good. And the score, Purdue 7, Iowa nothing. We'll be right back. Walter Pisa set to kick off for the Purdue Boilermakers. J.C. Lovejordan and Ronnie Harmon back deep for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And it's a short kick. Will be taken by Lovejordan at the 10-yard line. Lovejordan is knocked down right at the 20. Tommy Lee Myers, a backup cornerback, is the injured Boilermaker. As you see J.C. Lovejordan shaking his head as he goes off the field. And Dan McCarney very upset with his defense. Very vociferous coach on the sidelines. Dan McCarney, always the type of guy that is going to give his all, whether he was a player or a coach.
I know in talking with the coaches this week, Iowa was concerned about their defense. They do have some injury problems. They've lost Ukula, one of their starting linebackers, and he's being replaced by Hedgeman, and we've already talked about Paul Hufford, who's out of there too. So they're playing with some young people up there right now, and Purdue is definitely taking advantage of that situation. And Iowa just has to get a little bit tougher out there and play a little bit harder.
Well, they're definitely attacking that one side of the line almost exclusively. That's where Iowa, of course, lost guys like Dave Strobel and Paul Hufford. So the Hawkeyes down 7-0. Chuck Long in there at quarterback. Norm Granger and Eddie Phillips as well. Completes the pass to Ronnie Harmon, and Harmon will go down at the 30-yard line. That's enough for a first down, but there are penalty markers down as well. Don Anderson on the coverage.
This is just a one-man pattern by Iowa, rollout here by Chuck Long, and delivers to Ronnie Harmon. He's an exciting player once he gets his hands on that football. He reminds me a lot of Lynn Swan, former player with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Markoff will go against the Hawkeyes. So Iowa having some problems getting untracked in the early going. And this one will cost them 10 yards. Holding against Iowa. So first down, 20, back at the 10-yard line. And the Hawkeyes already trail it 7-0. This is their second possession. Norm Granger and Owen Gill the setbacks now. Long play action. Going deep. He's got Gill. To the 45-yard line. A tremendous catch in the rain by Owen Gill.
Just a play-action pass by Iowa. Moritz, you can't see this on the screen, but he's taken the defender out of there, and they've taken Owen Gill out of the backfield and run him up on an up pattern, and makes a big catch for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Owen Gill brought down by Ray Wallace, the cornerback for the Boilermakers. The first down of the ball game for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and Eddie Phillips comes in for Owen Gill. Long. Lots of time. Long will scramble now, and Long will be brought down by Derek Hoskins after a gain of 4 on the scramble. But nobody was open. Chuck Long, an excellent runner. We mentioned earlier he leads the nation in passing. A very complex rating system, but he has 168.3 rating points.
Long had plenty of time to throw. I think maybe the footing out there is a little bit treacherous, both for the offensive and defensive players, so that may have been the reason why he had more time to throw the football.
2nd and 6, and this is Norm Granger. Very close to the first down. He'll come up about a foot shy. Derek Hoskins has Granger. And Granger, as outstanding a fullback runner as you're going to see.
Just a simple draw by the Iowa Hawkeyes. He gives the ball to Granger, and he jumps up in there and gets good yardage for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Just shy of the first down. It'll be 3rd down, a short one. And Iowa puts its short yardage offense into the ball game. Gill and Granger in the backfield. Brohammer and Happel are the wideouts. 3rd and short. Look at that. They hike it to Chuck Long. Nobody moves, and Long goes right up the gut for the first down. You think that was a design play or not?
Well, I was thinking about that. They could have had a design play like that where no one moves. As you see, the quarterback snaps, or the center snaps the ball. No one else on the offensive line moves except for the center, and consequently it nullifies Purdue's rush, but they did pick up the first down.
Especially when you're keying on the man across the line from you, right?
That's right. The defensive linemen are told to key on the person across from them. If he doesn't move, they don't move.
So Long has run the football a couple of times for 6 yards now. 1st and 10 Hawkeyes in Purdue territory at the 46-yard line. Iowa trails at 7-0. 2:45 left to play in the first quarter. Long. Going deep. He's got Mortz. Mortz at the 20, down to the 15. First and 10 Hawkeyes at the 15-yard line. Don Anderson and Rod Woodson finally pushed Mortz out of bounds.
This is just one of those plays that Iowa has so much success with. They dump the ball in between the deep secondary receiver or the defender and the linebacker. And talking with some of the coaches yesterday, they said that Long can throw this pass almost in his sleep. He's thrown it so often.
Long 2 of 3 for 63 yards. He's more than double the output of Scott Campbell with less than half the passes. He checks off, and it'll be Owen Gill. Gill across the 10. Gill pushing for yardage. Gill down to the 2. First and goal, Hawkeye. Ray Wallace and Kennedy Wilson make the stop on Owen Gill.
Long checks off the line of scrimmage. He must have seen something up there with the defensive alignment and checks the play off and gives the ball to Owen Gill, and he gets tremendous yardage up the middle there. This is the best running attack we've seen since the Penn State game, I believe.
Well, Owen Gill and Eddie Phillips might finally be healthy. First and goal, Hawkeyes. Full house backfield with Fred Bush in there along with Granger and Gill. Hand off to Gill. Touchdown, Iowa. A 7-play drive that covered 80 yards. Now remember, they were penalized back to the 10, so they really covered 90. So the Hawkeyes on the board with 2:06 left to play here in the first period. The rain has stopped just a bit, and Tommy Nickel, the all-time leading scorer in Iowa history, in to attempt to tie this ball game up. There's a high snap, but the conversion is good. And you've got a roughing penalty against Purdue as well. The score, Iowa 7, Purdue 7. We'll be right back. From his own 45-yard line. And he'll kick this one right through the uprights. And that, of course, always excites the crowd. Big John Ruff, senior co-captain, one of the bearded ones for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
That drive by Iowa, that was a very important drive. If they would not have been able to take that ball like they did, it could have created a little bit of doubt in their minds as far as the outcome of this game. I think it really helped their confidence by them being able to take the ball down the field and score.
First and 10 Boilermakers at the 20-yard line. Eric Jordan, the fullback, for a gain of 4. Brought down by Larry Station, the leading tackler for the Iowa Hawkeyes this season, just a sophomore. Preseason All-American candidate, though, in many observers' minds. But it really hurts when your second leading tackler, we're speaking of Paul Hufford, is out. Hufford was considered very, very doubtful for this ball game. He'll probably miss a couple with a knee injury. They give him a pickup of 4.5, so we'll say second down and 5. Campbell will throw. He's going deep. And Marty Scott's got it in Iowa territory. Mike Stoops with a touchdown-saving tackle at the Iowa 39. But for the first time in the ball game, Purdue goes deep.
This is just a drop-back pass by Purdue. Iowa was in a 2-deep defense, and that's 2 people deep in the secondary. And that receiver just runs right between Iowa's defenders, and Campbell lays it in there for the big gain.
Marty Scott, the backup tight end, running a play out of the Iowa playbook. How many times have you seen Hufford or Hayes open on that play? First and 10. Mel Gray, the speedster. And Gray dances for 5. Larry Station makes the tackle, and Eric Hedgeman helps out as well. Second down and 5 for the Boilermakers, who have been moving the football very effectively.
Iowa's been basically in their base defense. I look for them to maybe do some more stunning up front to help those young players in there who haven't been playing so much.
Second and 5, lone setback. That's Jordan. Jordan's got the first down. Across the 30, down to the 28. Station and Jeff Drost with the stop.
Larry Station made the stop for the Hawkeyes. First and 10, Purdue.
Final seconds of the first period. Purdue moved on its second possession. Iowa did the same on their second possession, and we're tied at 7. Campbell and Gill have scored the touchdown. Here comes Purdue again. It's just drizzling now after a hard rain in the opening moment. Campbell, complete. Jeff Price, knocked out of bounds at the 19-yard line for a gain of 9 by Mike Stoops. So Campbell uses all of his receivers.
Just a simple pass to the wide receiver out there. Campbell really throws a lot of different types of patterns. He throws the short 2- and 3-yarders. He throws the intermediates like this one here, the 7-8 yards, and he can also go deep. So he's got a wide variety of things that he can throw at you, and it really presents some problems for the defense.
Stoops, what a hit right there. And Price was shaken up just a bit. Had to be helped off the field. Fumble out of bounds. Purdue's football. Second down 1. The ball at the 19. Lots of movement everywhere, and the Boilermakers will be penalized. Illegal procedure. Campbell already in the ball game. 7 of 9. 77 yards. So that one big gain that he had of 36 yards really helped out his average.
Preliminary signal, illegal procedure, Purdue.
Five yards. Illegal procedure. The entire right side of that line moved. It'll be second down and 6. This could be the final play of the first period, provided he does not throw an incompletion. Campbell will throw. Complete to Marty Scott for the first down. Mike Stoops on the coverage again.
Just a short pass by Campbell. They cleared everybody out and brought the tight end underneath the linebackers, something that they've been doing all afternoon, and big completion for Purdue.
And that was the final play of the first quarter. The score, Iowa 7, Purdue 7. We'll be back with the second quarter after these words. Hayden Fry a little bit concerned as the Boilermakers driving the football again. We have a tie game as we begin the second quarter. Bob Hogue along with Bill Whistler. This is Mel Gray. Gray brought down by Larry Station. Station really grabbed him there at the 12-yard line. A gain of 4 for Mel Gray.
Larry Station as a clear on the stop for the Hawkeyes.
That play was designed to go inside, but Brooks, the defensive end, came down real strong and forced the play to bounce outside, and Station scraped off and made the tackle for a short gain.
Split backfield for the Boilermakers. Second down 6. Campbell will throw. Touchdown! Marty Scott, all by himself. Hayden Fry said, "What's happening?" to Barry Alvarez.
Drop back pass by Purdue. They bring their wide receiver across the middle of the zone and just throws it right between the Iowa defenders, the 2 D-backs, and right in front of the linebackers. Touchdown for Purdue.
8-play, 80-yard drive, and they use the big tight end. Marty Scott 3 times in that drive, and he gets the touchdown. Here's Clark's conversion attempt. And we've got penalty markers all over the place. The conversion was good. Offsides penalty against the Iowa Hawkeyes. The conversion is good, so Purdue takes a 14-7 lead.
Right after good, Purdue 14, Iowa 7.
Right now is that they are playing together as a team. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast they had some problems with some of those teams they played. They played Notre Dame. They got shut out. They were shut out by Miami. And last week against Ohio State, things seem to be coming together for them. They had some problems with their quarterback. Campbell had some problems there, but everything seems to be falling in place for them now, and they're leading us 14-7 right now.
The penalty marked off. 5 yards, so Walt Trapeza will be kicking off from his own 45 instead of his own 40. Back deep, Ronnie Harmon and J.C. Lovejordan. The Boilermakers have moved the ball extremely well. One a ground drive, this one a passing drive, and they lead it 14-7. Scott Campbell playing very well after a bad start. 9 of 11 for 98 yards. And the kick will sail out of the end zone. So the Hawkeyes will start at 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. It's interesting the contrast of the two teams' offenses. Purdue attacks you short in the middle of everything, and Iowa tries to go over the top of you, going long.
I think that's the reason. The reason behind that is because of the quarterback situation, the type of ball that the quarterbacks throw. Long does throw sort of a lofted pass, where Campbell throws everything mostly on a rope where it's straight line, and he's able to do those things.
1st and 10 Hawkeye. Play action. Long going deep. He's got Mortz in the post pattern. Mortz has got it at the Purdue 43-yard line. A perfectly thrown pass by the nation's #1 quarterback, Chuck Long.
Just a drop-back pass by Iowa. Fritz is running a post pattern, gets between two defenders, and Long lays it in between two Purdue defenders, and a good catch by Moritz. Big gain for Iowa.
Dave Mortz, 2 receptions for 67 yards. 1st and 10, Hawkeyes in Purdue territory. Granger, the ball carrier. And Granger across the 40 down to the 37. So they're scoring lots of points in the range. Chuck Long already at the century mark, 3 of 4 for 100 yards. Kevin Sumlin made the stop on Norm Granger. Granger and Phillips behind Long now, as Phillips spells Owen Gill, who scored the touchdown the last time the Hawkeyes had the ball. They trail 14-7. Here comes Purdue on the blitz. And Long read it, but Mortz could not get free, and Long had to hurry his pass a little bit. And Mortz tried to make a diving try and did not come up with it. An incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down.
Moritz is just running a very short, quick in, and he gets bumped at the line of scrimmage. And if he wouldn't have been bumped, he would have probably made the catch, but he was a little bit late getting there where Long was throwing. He was throwing on a spot, and as a result, there was no completion.
Third down and 4. Brohammer and Mortz are the wideout. Split backfield. Here comes Purdue. Long to Brohammer. He's got the 1st down. Brohammer goes down at the 26-yard line. Brought down by Don Anderson. But Brohammer continues to impress. Just a little short out, and he picks up the 1st down.
I'm sure that Chuck Long audibled at the line of scrimmage. He saw that Purdue was in a blitzing situation, put one man out, which was Brohammer. A short, quick pass to Brohammer for the completion.
Brohammer came into the ball game the 3rd leading receiver for the Hawkeyes. Not bad for a walk-on. 1st and 10. 12:52 left to play in the 2nd period. Draw play. Granger across the 20. Knocked out of bounds at the 17, a gain of 9. It'll be 2nd and 1. Tommy Lee Myers knocked Granger out of bounds. And Ronnie Harmon's hurt.
This is Norm Granger here. Is kind of a sprint draw type play. Gets outside and picks up good yardage. When Granger is well, he's really a fine fullback, and he can run the ball up in there as well as anybody in the conference.
That's Ronnie Harmon down on the field, and I was watching the replay and really don't know what happened, because it did not appear that his legs were knocked out from underneath him, although almost anything can happen when you have a wet surface like this one.
You hate to see him leave the football game. He's Iowa's big play man. If you go back through all the games this year and even back to the games last year, he always makes one or two big plays for the Iowa football team.
He came in the second leading receiver and the leader as far as yards per reception. Second down and 1 after Harmon is helped off the field. Split backfield behind Chuck Law. And this is Phillips getting outside. Phillips has the first down. Phillips across the 10 to the 9. Eddie Phillips brought down by Kennedy Wilson, the strong safety for the Boilermakers, but only after the Iowa Hawkeyes pick up a first down. It'll be first and goal at the 8.5-yard line.
Iowa runs a sweep here, a little bit different formation, but Eddie Phillips really shows that he's got some great speed and gets out of the contain and picks up big yardage for first down.
First and goal, Hawkeye. 12:25 left to play here in the second period. Purdue leads it 14-7, but the Hawks are driving. This is Phillips. And no run at all. No room to run at all as he gains a couple down across the 7-yard line.
They came back with the same play that they had just run previously. This time they run inside the end and only pick up a couple yards. Hayden likes to repeat plays if he has some success against you, and that's just what he did.
So give Phillips 2 yards. He has 4 carries for 11. Second and goal at the 7. Long checks off. Puts Granger and Phillips in the eye. This is Phillips trying to get outside. And Phillips really ridden out of bounds by Rod Woodson, the free safety. Woodson, a very strong free safety, was a state hurdles champ in high school.
Just an isolation play to Phillips. I'm sure that they checked off again there, but no running room there for Eddie Phillips.
Phillips has given just 1. So third and goal at the 6. Passing down. Mortz will split out to the near side. Iowa goes into a shotgun. We haven't seen this year. Draw play, long touchdown! Oh my! I haven't seen that play since Gordy Bohannon ran it against Purdue in the romp 2 years ago.
It's just a quarterback draw. It goes into the shotgun formation. I'm sure Purdue was thinking pass. It's a great call by Hayden Fry. Long takes it in for the touchdown. We've seen that play before, though.
That's right. A couple of years ago, when Bohannon ran it against the Boilermakers here, when Iowa routed Purdue and stopped that long losing streak of 20 years. Iowa won that game 33-7. But they're in a dogfight here. Tommy Nickel is good, and we've got a tie ball game. The score, Iowa 14, Purdue 14. We'll be back with more action after these words.
Number 26, Ron Woodson, and number 34, Lloyd Hawthorne, each for Purdue. Kicking off for the Hawkeyes, number 66, John Ralph.
A 10-play, 80-yard drive as John Ralph kicks off. And Lloyd Hawthorne returns it across the 15 up to the 19-yard line. And Dave Chambers makes the stop for the Iowa Hawkeyes, as he does so many times on the special team. It's raining, but they're still having a good time at Kinnick Stadium. Crowd really into this ball game. Lots of offensive fireworks. And how? It's already tied 14 apiece. 11:18 left to play before halftime. Both teams failed to score in their first possession, but each scored on their second and third times they had the ball. Campbell will throw on first down. Completes it out to Benson. And Benson has the first down across the 30-yard line to the 31. Kevin Spitzig and Kenny Sims on the coverage.
Just a short pass here. They take their tight end and run him on a straight angle to the outside. Everybody else is cleared out for him. He makes the catch. This is one of their better receivers. He's probably one of the best receivers in the Big Ten for that matter.
Cliff Benson makes the reception. And it's been the backup tight end, Marty Scott, with all the numbers so far. 3 receptions and a touchdown. Eric Jordan gets the call. And it's Jordan up to the 35-yard line. George Little making the tackle for the Iowa Hawkeyes. As the Boilermakers continue to exploit the young Hawk defense.
Iowa's going to have to start doing some stunning up there with their defensive linemen to stop some of those things that they're doing up there. And if they're able to stun, it's a little bit harder for the offensive linemen to pick those things up. And it'll allow the defense to be a bit more effective.
Gain of 3, second down 7. Play action, Campbell's coming back. He had Benson, but he overthrew it. In all the motion going one way and Benson coming across. Guarded by a linebacker, and Benson had Hedgeman by at least a step. Campbell in the ball game, 10 of 13, 111 yards. He's thrown for a touchdown and snuck over for another one. 14-14 tie in the Umbrella Bowl at Kinnick Stadium. Shotgun formation, 3rd and 7. Dump it off to Mel Gray. Gray appears to have the first down. Up to the 42-yard line. Nate Creer finally hemmed him in. Helped out by Mike Stoops as well. Just enough for a Purdue first down.
Purdue's in the shotgun, and what they did there was that they brought one of those backs out of the backfield. After the linebackers had dropped, he released in front of the linebackers. Just a short dump pass to him. Picks up the first down for Purdue.
1st and 10 Boilermakers. One back behind Campbell. He'll throw. Complete to Benson. Benson knocks over a man and has it into Iowa territory at the 48-yard line. Close to another Boilermaker first down. Tony Wankett was the first man to hit him.
Just a drop back pass. They drop it off to Benson, their big tight end, and he catches it in front of the linebackers again. That's where they're doing all the damage. After he catches it, he does pick up some additional yards for the first down.
You won't see that happen very often as Larry Station failed to make a tackle after having an attempt at it. Station probably the most sure tackler on this Hawkeye squad. But Benson just ran him over. Definite pro prospect. 1st and 10 Boilermakers. Campbell pressured, incomplete. Intended again for the tight end Benson. Mike Stoops was on the coverage, and Campbell was hurried just a little bit that time.
We saw Iowa on a blitz there. Station was coming from his linebacker spot, and so was Hedgeman. Put some pressure on the quarterback. He was forced to throw it sooner than he wanted. That's the thing that Iowa has to do to take some of the effectiveness away from Campbell and the Purdue offense.
Of his 12 pass receptions, 5 have been to tight end. 2nd down 10. Jordan just tipped up. Fumble. Fumble. They say no. They say Jordan is down. Iowa appeared to have recovered the fumble at the 42-yard line. They say his knee touched at the 45.
This is a draw play by Purdue. Iowa was in another blitzing situation. That's the danger when you do blitz like that. If the running back does break the line of scrimmage, he's got a lot of room to run in.
And I think the replay showed that the ground forced the fumble. And therefore, it was the proper call. Gain of 3, 3rd and 7. Campbell, here comes Station. Intercepted by Stoops. Intercepted by Mike Stoops after Station blitz. So the Hawkeyes have the football at the Purdue 46-yard line.
This is a big play by Iowa. Like I said, this is the one thing they've got to do, put pressure on the quarterback. These things will happen. This is what will happen. Stoops makes a big interception. That could be a big turning point in the football game.
Stoops couldn't believe how wide open he was. He just couldn't maintain his footing. Well, it's wet out there. First and 10 Hawkeyes, who have scored the previous 2 times. 14-14 tie. Long. Plenty of time. Complete to Jonathan Hayes, the tight end, at the 25-yard line. Rod Woodson puts the hit on Jonathan Hayes. Hayes has had some trouble hanging on to passes, and he had a little bit of problem right there.
Drop back pass by Iowa, just a little play action. Long is looking for Moritz, can't find him, but does find Jonathan Hayes down the middle and throws it between the linebackers. Hayes makes a good catch, picks up some additional yardage.
Long continues to go deep, 5 of 7, 132 yards. Draw play, Granger. And Granger runs out of his own shoe. I don't know if that helped him go down or not. Chuck Long picks up the shoe and tosses it back to him. And Norm will go out, replaced by Fred Bush. And Ronnie Harmon's back into the game, so apparently that ankle injury not very serious. Give Granger 2 yards on the carry. Second down 8. Bush and Gill behind Long. Long. Boy, very close to a pass interference call. Don Anderson was riding Ronnie Harmon. Judge for yourself.
Just a one-man pattern. Long tries to get outside to throw the ball to Harmon, and it's very close. I would say it's pass interference there. But I'm not on the field, so we're going to let them make the call.
There you go. You're not wearing your striped shirt up here today, huh? Third down for the Hawkeyes. They need to cross the 15 to pick up the first down. Long, forced out of the pocket. Long, in trouble, he'll go down, brought down by the big defensive end, Derek Hoskins, back at the 32-yard line. So both teams come up with big defensive plays and stop these drives.
Long just takes the ball, drops straight back. He's looking for Moritz, but Moritz is well covered, and Long is trying to find someone that's open, can't, and just forced to eat the football.
So Tommy Nickel will attempt a 47-yard field goal. That's within his range. Not much of a breeze here today, although the air is obviously very heavy. Of the hold of Tom Grogan. The kick is up, and it is good, and the Iowa Hawkeyes take a 17-14 lead. They take their first lead of the ball game, 17-14, with 6:27 left to play before intermission. Here's big John Rell. And Lloyd Hawthorne will not take it out. So the Boilermakers come back onto the field, having been stopped the last time by a pass interception. Scott Campbell gets the call from head coach Leon Burtnett. Well, they've gone over 5 quarters without a turnover, and they get one, and immediately Iowa puts the points on the board. 17-14 Hawkeye. Campbell will throw on first down. Pass is tipped at the line of scrimmage, intended for Benson. Incomplete. Stoops and Devon Mitchell on the coverage, but the pass was tipped at the line of scrimmage.
Just a crossing pattern by the tight end. Iowa has really good pressure on Campbell, forces him to throw it, but someone gets their hand up there. I couldn't tell who it was, but incomplete pass by Purdue.
I think the point you made earlier, Bill Whistler, that Iowa needs to stun a little bit, bring their linebackers, put a little bit heavier pass rush is the key for the Hawkeyes. Second down 10. Campbell again. Dumps it off short. This is Hawthorne. And Lloyd Hawthorne brought down at the 23-yard line.
Just a drop back pass by Purdue. And again, they're throwing those real short passes. They run it back out of the backfield. He checks the blitz first and then releases. Short gain by Purdue.
Gain of just 3. So it'll be 3rd and 7. Another down to blitz, perhaps. Larry Station forced the interception the last time. Here comes Station. And they got him. They picked up the blitz, but Campbell's in trouble. Station's got him. So a quarterback sack back at the 10-yard line. We called that one.
Here we see Station right up the middle. That back was supposed to pick him up. Campbell sees the pressure, forces him outside. Brooks does a good job of containing, and the backside makes the play. Station still got up and helped on the play there.
Station is so quick, and he just doesn't give up. So Walter Pisa out of his own end zone now. 4th and 18. Hawkeyes were coming. A short kick, and Robert Smith will let it bounce. It'll be 1st and 10 Hawkeyes at the Purdue 43. So the brakes are going Iowa's way now.
Purdue has had some problems with their punting game. They had 2 returned against Ohio State last year, and we may see something like that happen today. He is kicking the ball short, and if they don't get the good coverage, Iowa may be able to return one for 6 points.
The big question is, can you field the punt when the football is so doggone wet? 1st and 10 Hawkeyes. They lead in the ballgame 17-14. Long going for it all. Oh, Mortz had himself turned the wrong way. Long threw it over the wrong shoulder, and Mortz had his man beaten. That was Don Anderson back there.
Just a 2-man pattern. They're trying to split the zone in there. Moritz is running a post pattern. Long does throw it over the wrong shoulder, but Moritz makes a great recovery and almost makes the catch.
Long now, 5 of 9, 132 yards. Of course, he's run for a touchdown. Field has the other one for the Hawkeyes, and a 47-yard field goal by Tommy Nickel the last time they had the football has given the Hawkeyes a 17-14 lead. 4:43 left to play here in the 2nd quarter. Eddie Phillips, some tough yards up to the 40-yard line, gain of 3. Derek Hoskins has him.
Tackled by Derek Hoskins.
The Iowa running backs running at the 100% level, and they haven't been able to do that since the first couple of ball games against Iowa State and Penn State. Banged up badly at Penn State, and of course were not themselves against Ohio State nor at Illinois. Third down 7. Iowa needs to cross the 33-yard line to pick up a 1st down. Long trying to set up the screen, and the pass was tipped. The pass was tipped by Mel Menke. Got in very quickly on the pass rush.
Iowa's trying to run the screen to the outside. I think Long was forced to throw the ball really before he wanted to. There probably wasn't too much running room out there anyway. As you can see, Purdue collapsed very quickly.
So Iowa could not take advantage of the tremendous field position. They pick up just 3 yards. Tommy Nickel. We'll see a pooch punt at this point. And it bounces into the end zone, and it'll be Purdue's football at the 20-yard line after the touchback. So Nickel unable to kick that one out of bounds, and Purdue gets relatively good field position at the 20-yard line. Could have been pushed back much further than that.
One thing now, Iowa has shown blitzes the last 2 or 3 times. This causes the offensive lineman to be a little bit uneasy there, not knowing where the pressure is going to come from. And it does create some problems for them.
First and 10, Campbell fumble. Who's got it? Scramble for the football. No indication. We'll wait.
You can almost say that that fumble was caused by the fact that Iowa has been blitzing. The quarterback was in a hurry to get out from underneath the center. The center was quick to snap it. Maybe caused some problems in the exchange there, and we did get the fumble. So the blitzing does cause some problems there for the offensive people.
Butch Alder fell on it. He's the center for the Boilermakers. Second down and 10. 3:20 and counting down before halftime. Purdue trails it by 3, 17-14. After leading much of the way. Here come the Hawkeyes. And Campbell is forced to throw it short, intended for Jordan. Mike Hooks on the blitz that time.
This is a cute little play by the Iowa defense. They ran what we call a twist between the defensive end, Hooks, and George Little, the defensive tackle. The tackle went out, Hooks came underneath and forced the pressure on Campbell, and the big what? Had to throw it quicker than what he wanted.
There you go.
I get too excited sometimes.
When you see a great play like that by a lineman. One setback. 3rd and 10. Heavy pressure again. Campbell gets it off. Almost picked off by Ron Hawley. Ball was tipped. Ron Hawley had a try for the intercept. So the Hawkeyes stop the Boilermakers again.
Campbell's back looking for a receiver. Again, this is the result of those blitzes that he's been seeing. He throws the ball. He's not as sure right now. And Iowa almost has the interception, but it does force Purdue to punt the football.
So here's Drapiza again. Back deep is Robert Smith. And Smith can fly. Smith has it at the 45. Smith to the 40. Smith to the 35. Does he get outside? He's going all the way. Robert Smith, touchdown, Iowa. Oh, my.
Big punt return by Robert Smith. This is what I think everybody's been waiting for him to do. He gets up the middle, breaks it to the outside, and just outruns everybody to the end zone. Purdue has had problems with this. They had 2 punts returned against Ohio State last week, and here we are. Here we see it again. Iowa returns a punt for the touchdown.
Robert Smith. Well, everybody's been waiting for it. He's been threatening to do it. After he got his confidence with a big 86-yard pass play last week from Tommy Grogan, he finally broke one. So Purdue has had 3 punts, run back for touchdowns in just 2 ball games. That's enough to take the spirit out of you. So the Hawkeyes go up by 9, a chance to make it 10. Tommy Nickel out of the hold of Tom Grogan. Another high snap, but Grogan gets it down, and it's good. The score, Iowa 24, Purdue 14. The crowd a little drier and much happier as they watch Robert Smith run a punt back for a touchdown. And the Hawkeyes have come back from a 14-7 deficit and now lead it 24-14.
I'm sure that the fact that Iowa did make some changes in their defense has caused the turnaround in this football game. They had to do something because Purdue was really hurting the Iowa defense with their running game and their short passing game. The fact that Iowa went to the blitz, they started stunning with their defensive linemen, caused some problems for the offensive line, forced Campbell to throw the ball quicker than he wanted to, completely turned the football game around at this point.
Absolutely. Big John Relk with another chance. The Hawkeyes up 24-14. 2:46 left to play before intermission. What a ball game, especially if you like lots of offense. Hawthorne at the 2-yard line. Back to the 20, and he's dumped right there. So Purdue will start at the 22-yard line. George Davis, freshman linebacker, who came up with 12 tackles last week, made the stop with plenty of help on Lloyd Hawthorne. John Breeze also helped out. So 1st and 10 for the Boilermakers. The ball at the 22-yard line, and suddenly they find themselves down by 10 points. Still a long punt return with Udi. Iowa's defense has confused them. Mel Gray. And Gray across the 25-yard line. Lots of black shirts in on the stop. Hap Peterson at the bottom of the pile, along with Kevin Spitzik. A gain of 4 to the 26-yard line, so it'll be 2nd down and 6. Gray, 9 carries, 60 yards. Very instrumental in the second drive for the Boilermakers. Campbell, complete to Steve Griffin. But Campbell is really thrown off his back foot now.
Well, when he's got all that pressure coming at him, he knows Iowa's going to come at different times. The problem is he doesn't know when, so consequently he's got to be prepared to get rid of the ball quicker than he wants to.
Another 1st down for the Boilermakers. Lone setback behind Campbell. That's Eric Jordan. 1st and 10. This is Jordan, the ball carrier. Up to the 39. Gain of 3. Purdue would love to get into the end zone, or at least pick up 3 points with a field goal and trail by a touchdown or less. Jeff Drost makes the tackle.
It's important at this point, I think, for Iowa to keep Purdue off the scoreboard. It'll give them a great deal of confidence if they could score and then come out in the second half ready to go again.
2nd down, 7. Mel Gray gets to the outside. He can burn it. Mel Gray runs out of bounds at the 41-yard line of the Hawkeyes. Larry Station, Devon Mitchell, and Kenny Sims forced him out.
This is a great effort by their fine tailback. He finds that it's kind of plugged in the middle and breaks to the outside. Devon Mitchell makes a mistake and lets him get outside. There's plenty of running room out there, but he does run out of bounds to kill the clock and Purdue's football.
1st and 10 Boilermakers at the Iowa 41. 1:25 left to play here in the second quarter. Iowa leads it by 10, 24-14. Lloyd Hawthorne. And Hawthorne is brought down by Larry Station after a gain of just 1.
Helped out by Tony Wankin.
Hawthorne, another small tailback, also 5'9", along with Mel Gray. So Purdue going with those shifty kind of backs, and they call a timeout, and everybody goes over the sideline to talk it over. So 1 minute and 12 seconds left with the clock stopped. And interesting here that you would have your entire team come over to the sidelines, Bill Whistler. What advantage do you get when you bring everybody over like that instead of just, say, your 1 or 2 top players?
That's unusual, especially in college. Sometimes you see in high school football where the coach will actually come on the field and talk to the team on the field, but this is a little bit unusual. I haven't seen that done very often.
With a big contrast on the other side, Larry Station was the only man who came over to the Iowa bench.
In the first half, it will be 2nd down, 9 for Purdue from the Iowa 40.
Second down, 9. Scott Campbell has the call now. And he has 72 seconds before the halftime break. Ball ready. press squarely at the 40-yard line of the Iowa Hawkeye. Iowa in a 5-2. Here come the linebackers. And Station has Campbell back at midfield. Station just too quick, too strong, and a big loss on second down.
Drop back pass by Purdue. Iowa's bringing 7 people. Here comes Station, makes a big play. You can see how big and strong Campbell is, knowing that Station is also strong himself, but he's very hard to bring down.
You know, they honored Ed Bannock here, the great wrestler, before the game, and I think Ed would have loved that move put on by Larry Station. It's like almost a 5-point move, didn't it? 2-point takedown, 3-point near fall. Third down long. Here's Jordan, the ball carrier. Eric Hedgeman, the first Hawkeye there. So it's going to be 4th down and 12 for the Boilermakers, and 14 seconds remain. And they're not going to stop the clock. They're not going to try anything. Well, this is interesting. They stopped the clock with 5 seconds left.
As long as Purdue's having trouble picking up that blitz, I believe Iowa should continue to bring those people. As long as you give that quarterback time to throw the football, he's going to complete those things. And right now, Purdue is really having a hard time picking up those people as they're coming. And I would like to see them do more and more of that to keep that pressure on the quarterback.
Well, they are really confusing Campbell. This is the kind of defense you usually put on a young quarterback. It's really surprising, someone with the experience of Campbell, who's been a 3-year starter there.
Another thing that they're doing to Campbell out there, I should say Iowa is anyway, they're lining up their secondary in 4 deep across the back end, and Campbell is having a hard time reading the coverage back there. He has to read the coverage on the snap of the ball rather than on the alignment of the secondary. And this is causing him some problems also as far as who is going to be open and who's going to be covered.
4th down, the ball at the 44-yard line. 5 seconds left. Disdaining the field goal attempt. Campbell puts all the receivers on the far side, and he'll just air it out. Campbell going for it all. Incomplete pass in the end zone, and that is it. The first half is over. A great offensive display as the Iowa Hawkeyes lead the Purdue Boilermakers 24-14. We're set to begin the second half. The Iowa Hawkeyes lead the Purdue Boilermakers 24-14. Bob Hogue along with Bill Whistler at Kinnick Stadium, where it rained early, but it has been dry. Not dry enough, though, for J.C. Lovejordan, who's tackled back at the 10-yard line. So Lovejordan had trouble with a handle, and the Hawkeyes will start deep in their own territory at the 10-yard line. Statistics from the first half. Purdue led in first downs, 14-8. In rushing yardage, 97-57, and passing yardage, 145-133. But the Hawkeyes took advantage of an intercepted pass that led to a field goal, and Robert Smith ran a punt back for a touchdown. So it's 24-14 Hawkeyes. Chuck Long to Eddie Phillips on first down, and Phillips gets 2. Brought down by Chris Scott. And Bill Whistler, your thoughts on the first half and what has to happen for each of these teams to turn things around and make it go their way?
I think the biggest thing that happened in that first half is that Iowa did adjust their defense and started bringing people and helped those young players out that haven't been playing too much on the defensive side of the football. It's going to be interesting to see what type of adjustments Purdue is going to make to combat that type of a defense that Iowa has been using.
Second down 8. Purdue was blitzing. They've got Long, but Long has it down to Harmon. Another great catch at midfield. Harmon comes back to the football. First and 10 Hawkeyes at midfield. Don Anderson made the stop on Ronnie Harmon. And how did Chuck Long get away from this pressure?
He was looking for someone other than Ronnie Harmon. He has a lot of time to throw the football, get some pressure there, And after he released it, it looked like he wasn't going to get the ball there, but Ronnie Harmon made a great play, came back for the football, and just made a tremendous catch there. This is something that he does every game, makes a big play, and gets Iowa out of a hole.
At least one tremendous catch of ball game by Ronnie Harmon. Boy, a big mix-up. Long had nobody to pitch the ball to, and Mel Menke threw him for a big loss back at the 43-yard line. So a loss of 7. A mix-up in the Iowa backfield.
I don't know really what happened there, but this is just a sign of a quarterback with experience. He recognized when he made the turn there that something was wrong. He kept it rather than risk the fumble, and Iowa still maintains possession of the football.
Chuck Long now 6 of 11, 171 yards. Pitch to Phillips. Phillips, can he get outside? He does, but not much room there. Gets it back to the 49-yard line, brought down by Don Anderson and Kennedy Wilson. But it will be 3rd and long, 3rd and 11.
Just a straight down the line option by Iowa. A play we don't see Iowa run very often. Long pitches to Phillips, does get outside, picks up a few yards before he's brought down.
Obvious passing down for the Hawkeyes. They line up Granger and Phillips. Behind Chuck Long. Ronnie Harmon split to this side. Dave Bortz to the far side. Penalty marker as Harmon left too soon. Long goes deep. He's got Jonathan Hayes, but it's going to come back. Ronnie Harmon left too soon here on the near side.
This is a play that Iowa's had a lot of success with today. They send their 2 wide receivers down on the outside and have Jonathan Hayes go down over the middle. He finds the open area between the 2 linebackers and jumps and makes a great catch. But unfortunately, Iowa's offside. They're going to bring it back.
So instead of a first down deep in Purdue territory, the ball marked back to the Iowa 44-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 16 for the Hawkeyes. And Harmon has the play for Chuck Long. The Hawkeyes have been able to go deep very efficiently against a quick defensive secondary of the Boilermakers. Same formation. And it's Harmon. Harmon to the 40. He's got the first down. And he's down at the 34-yard line. And a penalty marker down. Another penalty marker down as it appeared that the Hawkeyes had the first down. But a holding call will bring it back.
Another big play by the Iowa offense. Finds Harmon in the seam there. He makes a big catch, finds the open area, tries to get more yards. But again, they're going to bring it back. Iowa was guilty of an infraction.
Harmon's speed is so tremendous that he's able to go deep and then come back, and the secondary men just can't stay with him. So a holding call will make it 3rd down and seemingly forever. 3rd and 26, back at the 34-yard line. They need to cross the Purdue 40 to pick up a first down. .22 left to play here in the 3rd quarter. Iowa will run. Pitch it back to Phillips. Phillips can only pick up about 3 yards before he's brought down by Andy Gladstone at the 37-yard line. So Iowa will be forced to punt after they pick up a couple of first downs, but were penalized. Tommy Nickel reports in.
I'd like to make a comment about Ronnie Harmon. Truly great receivers have a tendency to have a great feel for the ball. Everything they catch is with their hands rather than with their shoulders or the bodies. And this is what Ronnie Harmon does so well, catch the ball with his hands.
And look at this. Tommy Nickel punts it all the way back to the 8-yard line, and Griffin is brought down at the 6, but penalty markers are down.
big punt by Tommy Nichols. Iowa converges very well and prevents any type of run back. There was a penalty on the play, penalty against Purdue. Would Iowa accept that, Bob?
Well, they would be smart to accept it at that point. They obviously, if you had a choice at the 6 or back at the 3. Mike Haight was the man who finally stopped Griffin. So the clip was back at the 3, so a half the distance to the goal at the 1.5-yard line. Attendance over 66,000 again. A sellout crowd. A 55-yard punt by Tommy Nichols. How about that? Little Tommy from Green Bay. Campbell out of his own end zone. Pass is complete and dropped by Jeff Price. Price had it and then dropped it. Boy, right on the money. That one has the quarterback talking to himself. Thought he gave him a little bit of room. Instead, if Iowa blitzes on this play, an opportunity to pick up 2 points for a safety.
That was a real dangerous pass that Campbell threw there. The one-man pattern, if it had been thrown underthrown there, it could have been touchdown Iowa.
There's Campbell, literally in the shadow of his own end zone. 2nd and 10. Rolling, firing, dropped again by Price. So Price apparently with the wet hands, even though the field is drying up a little bit. He's dropped 2 in a row, and it'll be 3rd and 10.
Just a play-action pass by Campbell, gets outside the Iowa contain, and throws the ball in there, but there's another drop by the Purdue receivers, so it's 3rd down for Purdue.
Campbell now 15 of 26 and victimized by bad hand. David Rutherford, number 48, brought in the play there, 3rd down 10. High formation. Draw play, 1st down. Rodney Carter across the 20 to the 25-yard line. Stoops and Craer make the stop on the 3rd team fullback, Rodney Carter.
This is really a great call on Purdue's part. Iowa head fakes the blitz. Maybe that caused the checkoff. Purdue runs the draw play very well, gets outside, and Iowa was probably expecting a pass play, but didn't get it, and Purdue picks up the 1st down.
So a very important play. 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line. Here's Carter again. Penalty markers are down. This will be brought back. Larry Station and Kenny Sims making the stop. Some people didn't have umbrellas, so they brought plastic bags to try to stay dry. Field, though, is getting much drier. Stopped raining at about 1:30, I'd say. 5-yard mark off against the Boilermakers. Illegal procedure. It'll be 1st and 15 back at the 21-yard line. Purdue a definite advantage in time of possession. Almost a 2-to-1 margin in the 1st half. That run back of a punt by freshman Robert Smith is the difference in the ball game as Iowa leads it by 10. A tremendous reception this time by Jeff Price, who makes amends for the 2 drops. Gain of, we'll call it 9. Mark the football at the 30-yard line. 2nd down, excuse me, and 6. Second down and 6. Split backfield for the Boilermakers. And up to Jordan. Spins his way to the 33-yard line. Eric Hedgeman was the first Hawkeye there. And Jordan, a very elusive-looking fullback, gains 3.
This is just a draw play to their fine running back. He gets up in there and picks up a couple yards. Purdue has done a good job. They've taken the ball from the 3-yard line and have driven it out to the 34. I'm sure that Iowa would have preferred to have them punt the ball and maintain a good field position.
3rd down 3, big play. Campbell looking short. He's got Benson. Does he have enough for the 1st down? I'm not sure. It's going to be very, very close. Larry Station and Tony Wankin run Benson out of bounds. And they're going to have to measure this time. This is going to be within inches either way. And they're just shy. About 3 inches shy. So the big stop that time on Benson prevented the Boilermakers from picking up the 1st down. And they'll have to turn the ball over. Rapiza will punt from his own 21-yard line. And that man, Robert Smith, is back deep. There he is. He broke it the last time for a touchdown. He's at his own 26. 8:21 left to play, 3rd quarter. Iowa leads at 24-14. Outstanding football game. Purdue once led it 14-7. Iowa has stormed back to take control of the ball game. A high kick this time. Smith, fair catch, out of bounds at the 21-yard line. And we'll be right back.
This is the place for the real taste. Come on, play cool. Pabst is the place. There's just no doubt about it.
1st and 10 Hawkeyes. Norm Granger and Owen Gill, the setbacks behind Chuck Long. Long will throw on 1st down. Looking deep. He's got Harmon. Harmon to midfield. He fumbles the football and Purdue has it. Kennedy Wilson falls on the fumble by Ronnie Harmon. So a big play, gained 30 yards, but then Harmon fumbled.
Chuck Long, a little play action pass here by Iowa. Finds that guy again, Ronnie Harmon, makes a good catch over the middle where they've been successful all afternoon. Ronnie's probably looking to find a place to break it all the way, probably loses his concentration there and drops the ball, and Purdue recovers.
Well, a big turn of events, and it's Purdue's football at midfield now. 1st and 10. Hawkeyes on a blitz. Campbell going long. Intended for Rutherford. Just over his outstretched arms. Kenny Sims was on the coverage. Sims, the freshman who has been severely tested in the past few ball games. And Sims will come out.
Purdue kept everybody in that time and just sent two people out, kept everybody in to block. Iowa was on a blitz and tried to hit the bomb, but was unsuccessful.
You saw the numbers there on Campbell, and this is Belgrave. Larry Station has him after a gain of 1. And I just love to watch Larry Station play defense, especially the way he pursues all the way across the field. Just keeps his legs churning. Nobody's going to knock him down.
He does a real good job flowing to the football up and down that line of scrimmage. He keeps people off his legs, keeps them away from his body, and that allows him to get to the ball carrier. Really an outstanding football player.
3rd down 9, Gray in the ball game, 11 carries, 78 yards. Long count, first Campbell. Here come the Hawkeyes on the blitz. Knocked away by Hunter. Intended for Price. But a good defensive play by Keith Hunter. Junior cornerback. Came in for Kenny Sims. So 4th down and Purdue forced to punt the football. Robert Smith back at his 13-yard line. Walter Rapiza, the left footer. Low snap. Smith will take it at the 11. And he just stays in bounds as he returns it to the 18-yard line. So a 7-yard run back by the freshman Smith. Iowa will start 1st and 10 at their own 18-yard line. 7:04 left to play in the third quarter. 24-14. Hawkeyes on top. No scoring here in the third quarter. Chuck Long, 200 yards passing, 7 of 12. Last time victimized by a fumble after a great reception by Ronnie Harmon. Harmon and Morris with a wideout. Harmon to this side, Morris to the far side. Hand off to Owen Gill. Gill breaks one tackle. Stiff arming his way across the 30-yard line before he's run out of bounds by Wilson. Enough for a first down for big Owen Gill. 3 carries for 30 yards and a touchdown.
They're just a tailback play here. They're trying to run inside, but everything is boxed up in there. Owen Gill has the speed to get outside of the contain and gets outside there and runs over a defensive back and just didn't have enough room to continue on down the field and pushed out of bounds.
The Hawkeyes give themselves a little bit of maneuvering room. Split backfield with Gill and Granger there. Penalty marker as Harmon moved too soon again. And Long with a grab on the face mask by number 91, Mel Menke. You're going to have flags against each ball club. Motion against the Hawkeyes, grabbing the face mask against Purdue. Offsetting penalties, no play.
A little play action pass by Iowa. Long is looking downfield. There's no one to throw the ball to. Purdue gets a good rush there. And Iowa is down back there. There was a face mask penalty, but offsetting penalties, so washes it out. We'll play it over again.
You can see Menke knew immediately when he grabbed the face mask. He tried to get his hands off there, but nevertheless still a penalty. After you watch what happened to Kenny Anderson last Monday night, you know why they've got that rule. And a man just about ripped his neck off in the Monday night game. 1st and 10. Draw play. Granger, big hole. Granger across the 40. Granger still on his feet. Granger to midfield. Granger to the 40. Penalty marker down. You'll see a clip. But Norm Granger all the way to the Purdue 39-yard line. But part of this will come back.
Just a little simple draw play to Iowa's fine fullback, Norm Granger. He makes a great run after he gets in the secondary. A couple missed tackles there and gets good yardage there. Iowa seems to, right now, being able to do almost anything they want to on offense. But the thing that's hurting them right now are a fumble, penalty, things of this nature. They've got to correct those things, and I think then they'll be able to put some more points on the board. But right now, those little things are really hurting them.
It wasn't a clip, illegal use of hands instead. So instead of a first down across midfield, it will be 1st and 1. How often do you get a 1st and 1? That very often, huh? Fred Bush and Owen Gill to setbacks. This is Bush with the call. Bush has the first down all the way to midfield. Andy Gladstone wraps up Fred Bush. Fine fullback out of New Jersey. First down for the Hawkeyes at midfield. The only thing worse than this rain in the early part of the ball game would have had turned cold, but it did not. The temperature's up near about 60 degrees, so really fine football weather right now. Apple and Harmon split to this side. Play action. Long. Dumps it off to Bush, and Bush drops it. Would have had a 7-yard gain. Long now 7 of 13 for 200 yards.
A little something different here by Iowa. They put everybody in a pattern. They put 5 people out. No one's open, except for Bush over the middle. And he tries to make the catch, but I think he's trying to run with it before he has it, and Iowa isn't able to move the football.
Second down and 10 now for the Hawkeyes. Apple stays in there. He splits wide to the far side. Harmon to the near side. I formation. Jonathan Hayes is the tight end. Fumble on the play. Who's got it? Apparently the Hawkeyes do. Well, somewhat surprising, Bill Whistler, that you would see these sort of mistakes after a really fine first half.
Well, that play there, Long did check off the line of scrimmage. Purdue had 7 men on the line of scrimmage. They had brought a defensive back into the blitzing formation there, and Long was trying to get out of there too quick, which resulted in the fumble there.
Yeah, you could see him pull out just too quickly. He saw the blitz coming. Third down 10. He checks off yet again. Sweep to Owen Gill. He's got the first down. Well, there's the Baby Bowl back again. To the 38-yard line, first down, brought down by Rod Woodson.
Just a quick pitch to Owen Gill. He gets outside there, turns it up, and he does a great job of running, jumps over a defender there, picks up good yardage. This is the one thing that's going to make Iowa a good football team. If they can get their offensive running game to complement the passing game, it's going to make it very hard on those defensive teams that they play against.
Key is keeping the running backs healthy, and they appear healthy now. Here come the Boilermakers. They were on a safety blitz, and Owen Gill fights for yardage across the 35 down to the 34. A gain of 3 for big Owen Gill, brought down by Andy Gladstone. 4:09 left to play here in the third quarter. Iowa driving the football. Second down now.
Iowa's been running the ball the last 2 or 3 times. Now you may see them go to the air on this second down situation.
Inside reverse, Ronnie Harmon. He's got a blocker in front of him. Harmon to the 15, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 10. Boy, you can see that play developing, and Iowa had a wall set up to the near side. Rod Woodson knocks Harmon out of bounds. At the 10-yard line, it'll be first and goal.
This is just a little counter action. Take to Owen Gill, bring Ronnie Harmon underneath. They pull both the backside guard and tackle. He's out, they're out in front of Harmon, and Harmon makes a good run after he gets the football and almost breaks it into the end zone.
John Alt leading the interference. First and goal Hawkeyes, right at the 10-yard line. There's Chuck Long. Here's Owen Gill. Owen Gill to the 5, to the 2. Ray Wallace makes the stop on Owen Gill, running with power. And it's second and goal, inside the 2-yard line.
Just a simple handoff to Owen Gill. And right now, the Iowa offensive line is controlling the line of scrimmage. And all they're doing right now is just going after him, blocking one-on-one, giving it to that big tailback in there and letting him get what he can.
Owen Gill averaging 9 yards a carry. Second down and goal. Full house backfield. Chuck Long over the top. He's down to the 1, but no more. So Long gets half the distance. And it'll be third and goal at the 1-yard line. Len Buggs checks in. Fred Bush will go out. The Hawkeyes will stay with the big backfield of Gill, Granger, and Buggs. Third down goal. Gill over the top, and he's stopped at the 1-yard line by Brock Spack, the #1 linebacker. Boy, he was right there. It'll be fourth and goal.
Just a simple isolation here. to Owen Gill. Really a great play by the Purdue defense. Everybody was up in the line of scrimmage, no place to run. So fourth down situation here for Iowa.
And the crowd gets to its feet. 4th and goal. Could be a very important point in the ball game. 4th and goal. Owen Gill, touchdown Iowa. Owen Gill with his second touchdown of the ball game. And the Hawkeyes now very much in control of this ball game.
It's an off-tackle play. They give the ball to Owen Gill, and he pushes across for the touchdown.
A 13-play drive that covered 82 yards. Tommy Nickel. And it's good. The score, Iowa 31, Purdue 14.
Time has passed, the family's grown.
John Relk kicking off for the Hawkeyes. It'll be taken back in the end zone, a touchback, as Woodson decides wisely not to run it out on a high kickoff by John Relk.
That drive, that scoring drive by Iowa, consumed a lot of time. The other thing it did was establish Iowa's running game. That entire drive was made up mostly of running plays to the fullback, a few draws, and then that exotic with Ronnie Harmon on the counter play.
1st and 10, Boilermakers. Scott Campbell will throw. Complete to Marty Scott. Scott, who has a touchdown reception already, and seems to be open all day long. Brought down by Devon Mitchell. Well, Purdue scored. Take a look at this play again. This is Campbell over the middle of the tight end, Marty Scott. Campbell scored on its second possession and its third possession and took a 14-7 lead. But since that time, Chuck Long tied it up in a 6-yard run, then a 47-yard field goal by Tommy Nickel, a run back of a punt by Robert Smith, and a 1-yard plunge by Owen Gill. Bruce King, the ball carrier on that play, up to the 40-yard line, gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Jeff Drost makes the stop for the Iowa Hawkeyes. So the Hawkeyes seemingly in control of this one now, leading 31-14 in the final minute of the 3rd quarter. A very important touchdown there on 4th and goal. Campbell. Almost picked off by Keith Hunter, intended for David Rutherford. Boy, Hunter playing a great game at corner after coming in for Kenny Sims.
This is a play that Purdue has had some success with throughout the football game. You can only run this thing so often. Keith Hunter makes a great knockdown here. He's seen that enough, and pretty soon he's going to intercept one of those.
3rd down now. Campbell pumps. Flags go down. Pass falls incomplete. But a flag in the secondary. It was thrown just as the pass was released. See if you get a defensive holding call or a pass interference. Holding against the Hawkeyes.
Preliminary signal, holding, Iowa.
That was
a big break for the Boilermakers.
That was unfortunate that Iowa was guilty of holding there. That was a poorly thrown ball by Campbell, and it would not have been caught. Just one of those things that happens in the secondary, and fortunately for Purdue, they do get the 1st down.
10 yards, holding.
So a 1st down at midfield. In fact, the ball just across that mid-stripe and into Iowa territory. Final 36 seconds of the 3rd quarter. Iowa has scored the last 24 points of this one and lead it 31-14. The lone back, that's Jordan. And Eric Jordan up to the 47-yard line. Larry Station, with so many tackles already, adds another to his list. Give Jordan just a gain of 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 8. And this should be the final play of the 3rd quarter, barring an incomplete pass. Jordan, 10 carries, 42 yards. Second down. Campbell going for it all. Incomplete pass. The final play of the 3rd quarter. Your score, Iowa 31, Purdue 14. We'll be back with the final quarter of action from Kinnick Stadium after these words. We start the 4th quarter. 3rd down 8 for the Purdue Boilermakers. Campbell sets up a screen to this side. This is Rodney Carter. Carter is really racked by Larry Station. Is that what they call a station break? I don't know.
Purdue runs the screen out here to one of the running backs, and after it's dumped off there, he gets upfield, but Station makes a great play. When he hits him, knocks him right out of bounds.
So it'll be 4th down, very short, about a foot. About a foot for the Boilermakers. A very important play for the Boilermakers if they want to stay into this ball game. They're down by 17. Mel Gray has the 1st down. Tony Wankin hit him in the backfield, but Gray, as elusive a runner as he is, was able to break free and pick up about a yard or so, perhaps 2, and the 1st down. George Davis finally brought him down. 1st and 10 for the Boilermakers at the 38-yard line of the Iowa Hawkeyes. 14:40 left. Strong to the top of your screen. Campbell will roll that way. Almost picked up by Nate Creer. The pass was intended for Rutherford. Creer read it all the way, had a chance for the big interception.
Scott Campbell tries to get outside of the contain. I was putting pressure on him. He doesn't have much time to throw the football and is forced to throw it. Almost a great play by Nate Creer. That's a dangerous pass to throw, because if it's short or incomplete or short over there, and the defender intercepts it, it's 6 points very easily.
The Hawkeyes missed a golden opportunity. 2nd down and 10 for the Boilermakers. Well, the Hawkeyes have made some great adjustments on defense. The Boilermakers driving at this point. Here comes Tony Wankin from the backside, and the pass knocked away just as it was thrown. And Campbell's going to be very slow to get up. What a hit by Tony Wankin.
Tony Wankin comes from the bottom of the screen here. Iowa's bringing 5 people this time and makes a big play, and I think it hurt Campbell there. Big play by Tony Wankin on the Iowa Hawkeyes.
What a great job Tony Wankin has done. Nobody touched it. He came in from the weak side. 3rd down 10. Campbell put under severe pressure, much like Chuck Long was against Illinois. Out of the shotgun now. Campbell, lots of time. Almost picked up by Station. Pass intended for Rutherford. Station read it perfectly. Hands are so bandaged up, it's tough to catch anything.
Campbell's in a shotgun formation here. He was so upset from that play before that he threw this ball even though there was no receiver open, and Iowa almost made the intercept. That's just a little frustration on the part of Campbell to throw that football.
4th down, and so you see Walt Drapiza. Left footer back at his own 48-yard line. Hawkeyes going for the block. Robert Smith will let it bounce. And it goes out of bounds at the 4-yard line. So a great boot that time by Drapiza, who really got the perfect roll on the football, and Iowa back at its own 4-yard line. Pease's got to be happy. He started 3 years as a kicker for the Purdue Boilermakers, but this is his first year as the punter. And you see the veteran quarterback, Chuck Long, along with Dave Borth.
Iowa starting from a poor position on the field. As a result of that punt, the people that are returning those punts are told to stand on the 10-yard line. If the ball is going over your head, they're told not to touch it. They're going to take their chances. Purdue got the lucky bounce, and we got the poor field position starting out this drive.
Field level shot of Chuck Long. Eddie Phillips trying to turn the corner. Gets up to the 5, perhaps the 6-yard line. Brought down by Kevin Sumlin, sophomore linebacker. You notice the Hawkeyes running away from Brock Spack's side on the field. Spack is the #1 linebacker. He's the guy who stopped Owen Gill down to the end zone on that 3rd and goal earlier in the ballgame.
Speaking of Spack, he was a heavily recruited kid out of high school, and Iowa came very close to getting him.
Good-looking player, all Big Ten performer. 2nd down. Eddie Phillips, again the ball carrier. Up to the 8-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down and 6 for the Hawkeyes. You need to cross the 14 to pick up the 1st down. Don Baldwin is the first Boilermaker to greet Phillips. For the Hawkeyes right now, you just don't want to make a mistake deep in your own end zone, deep in your own territory. 12:58 left to play in the ball game. The Hawkeyes lead at 31-14. 3rd down, 6. Another running play. Eddie Phillips. Probably just shy of the 1st down. As Phillips was really racked as he crossed the 10-yard line. Tommy Lee Myers, a backup quarterback, stayed at home and made the stop.
Just a simple sweep. Eddie Phillips trying to get outside there. Really not much running room, but he does pick up a few downs. I'm sure that Hayden is being a little bit cautious down there. He did not want to throw the ball and put the ball up and give Purdue a chance to intercept, especially at this point, leading 31-14. Very content just to run the football and get what you can.
4th and 1. Boilermakers coming. Tommy Nickel gets off a great punt. And Griffin will take it back at his own 45-yard line. So an outstanding punt by Tommy Nickel. Boy, has he improved this year.
I didn't realize he could kick the ball that well. He has usually been used to kick those pooch kicks, as Coach Fryer refers to. But thus far this year, he's filled in very well for departed Reggie Roby. Probably doesn't have the strength as Reggie does, but he still does a good job of kicking the football for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Scott Campbell, 1st and 10. Dumps it out of the backfield. Mel Gray, incomplete pass. He never had control of it. The Hawkeye defense thought they might have a fumble recovery, but Gray never had it.
Just a short pass here to Gray, their tailback. He knows that the Iowa defenders are enclosing on him, and as a result, gets the incompletion and 2nd down for Purdue.
The last 4 times that Campbell has thrown the football incomplete. So he's now right at the 50% mark, 19 of 38, 175 yards. 2nd down, 10. Carter. And he stopped after a gain of 2 at most. Larry Station tripped him up. So it'll be a 3rd down, 8 situation.
Number 46, Rodney Carter.
And Purdue expecting the blitz on that play, so they ran the draw. This time the linebacker stayed at home. So it becomes a guessing game now as Purdue really concerned about the defensive coverage of the Hawkeyes. 3rd down, 8. Plenty of time for Campbell. Dumps it off, but not enough for the 1st down. Lloyd Hawthorne has the football. Penalty marker goes down. Ron Hawley on the coverage and perhaps a late hit.
Just a short drop back pass. Campbell makes the completion, and we'll see here that when you got a player like Larry Station, as aggressive as he is, sometimes you're going to have these things happen. You're going to get called for the penalty, but that's just good aggressive football on the part of the Iowa defense.
A personal foul against Larry Station, and 15 yards for Purdue. Deep in Iowa territory now at the 31-yard line. First and 10 for the Boilermakers. 11:07 left. Clock running. 31-14. Hawkeyes on top. An out pattern. Price has it. Price. Brought down by Hunter and Hedgeman at the 18-yard line, but another Boilermaker first down. A 13-yard pickup, and first and 10 for the Boilermakers at the 18-yard line.
Iowa was on the blitz again there, and when you're in a blitzing situation, the defensive backs have to play a little bit tighter on those receivers, or else we'll get the reception like what happened there.
First and 10. Hand off to Carter. And Carter, the lone setback across the 15-yard line, a gain of 3. Purdue field goal unit. Do a little practicing on the sideline, but I don't think the Boilermakers are going to go for a field goal unless they have 4th and long. They need a touchdown. They need one quickly. 10:05 left. 31-14 Iowa. Lone setback again. Second down 7. Campbell. Complete to Price. At the 9-yard line. Not enough for a first down. It'll be a yard shy. 3rd and 1. Keith Hunter makes the stop on Price.
Just a simple out pattern on the part of Purdue. Looks up in front of the defensive back. Comes up and makes the play for the short gain. And Iowa's content to give them the short patterns. They're not going to give them the long touchdown pass or the easy touchdown.
Price already with 6 receptions, and you remember he dropped a couple of passes right on the money. 3rd and 1. Carter, the fullback, has the first down. It'll be first and goal inside the 7. Larry Station, another tackle.
George Little and Larry Station on the tackle for the Hawks.
First and goal for Purdue, but they don't want to take one of these time-consuming drives. 9:13 counting down.
Goal for Purdue from the 7-yard line.
High formation. First and goal. Penalty markers everywhere, and somebody along the Purdue line jumped too quickly. Illegal procedure against the Purdue Boilermakers. So first and goal, mark the football back between the 11 and 12-yard lines. Now you have to think about throwing the football.
That would seem to be the case here. Got long yardage to go for the touchdown.
Campbell now with 200 yards, 22 of 41. First and goal at the 11. Wankett from the weak side. Fumble. Iowa has it. Tony Wankett. Oh my.
Campbell better get his number. Here we see Wankett coming from the weak side again. No one blocks him. Iowa's bringing all front 5 people, and just from the blind side, gets a big hit. Now watch him get off the quarterback and still recover the ball for the Iowa fumble. Really a tremendous play on the part of Tony Wankett, Iowa defensive end.
Unbelievable. Some thought he wasn't big enough or fast enough to play defensive end in major college football. Boy, has he proven them wrong. First and 10 Hawkeyes after the big play by Tony Wankett. And Norm Granger, the ball carrier, across the 20, up to the 21-yard line. A pickup of 2. It'll be second down and 8. And the clock now definitely becomes a factor. 8:30 left. Nate Lindsay, backup nose guard, makes the stop for the Purdue Boilermakers. Billy Happel has the play for Chuck Long now. Hawkeyes definitely looking like a team that deserves the top 20 ranking. Lots of Bowl Scouts in attendance at this ball game today. Second down between 7 and 8. Long will throw. Almost a diving reception by Jonathan Hayes. The pass just a little bit behind him. Long's numbers haven't been nearly as good, but he's still very effective. 7 of 14, 200 yards.
Just a little play action pass on the part of Iowa. They're trying to work Jonathan Hayes, a tight end, in between the zone seam there. Long throws it behind him, almost makes the catch.
So Iowa needs to reach the 29-yard line to pick up a first down. They're just shy of the 22. Third down. Long will roll to the near side. Long will pump. He's in trouble. Can he get away? Pass is short, intended for Norm Granger. Chuck Long is down back at the 2-yard line, but he's okay except for coming out of his shoulder pad. Good pressure that time by the Boilermakers, and it'll be fourth down. When's the last time you saw both quarterbacks with identical yardage? We're not talking 0, 200. Tommy Nickel, a short punt, will be down at the 45-yard line by George Davis. Purdue really coming hard that time. 31-14 Iowa. We'll be right back. First and 10 Boilermakers at their own 45-yard line. 7:41 left to play. They've got to score and score quickly. Dump it out to Carter. Carter to midfield. Carter hurdles a man and knocks over the equipment bag as he gets into Iowa territory at the 46-yard line. Mike Stoops ran him out of bounds, but I think that Carter hurdled Keith Hunter.
A swing pass to the back out of the backfield and picks up good yardage here. And first down for Purdue.
Purdue has the play called immediately, so we go back to live action. Dump it off to Price right in front of Hunter, but Hunter right there to make the stop. First down after a gain of 6. And Purdue, with a lot of points to pick up, goes into its 2-minute drill now with 7:28 left to play. They were denied a touchdown on a big sack by Tony Wankett moments ago. Here comes Station. They pick up the blitz, but Campbell in trouble. He'll go down. John Breeze, the first Hawkeye. Breeze, the freshman, back at the 48-yard line.
Here we see it again. This has caused Purdue problems all day where they bring their linebackers, forcing Campbell to the outside. He can't get set for to throw the football, and there's Wankett again coming across and putting the hit on the quarterback.
The clock running now, 6:50. But look, everybody's switching all over the place. Like a flag football play. Campbell's got the play now. Second down and long. Campbell's in trouble. Campbell will tuck it under. And Hedgeman's got him in Iowa territory at the 48-yard line. But he picks up just 4 on the play.
Just trying to get outside here with the pass. Iowa has good pressure on the quarterback. Campbell forced to break it, tucks it under, and picks up whatever he can. Right now, I think Purdue is a little bit confused. Campbell seems to be wanting to do everything out there, not getting too much help from his offensive line. Iowa's really starting to dominate.
You see the situation. Under 6 minutes to play. Third and long. They dump it off short to Benson. And Hawley knocks Benson out of bounds at the 41-yard line. But it'll be fourth down and 11. Campbell was racked pretty hard just after he released the football by Wankett. I think he's going to be seeing Wankett's number in his sleep.
On almost every offensive play, Campbell is being hit. Either very close to being a late hit, but he's getting a lot of bumps and bruises out there.
Fourth down and 11. Really the last hurrah for Purdue. They have to score on this possession. 5:48 left. Campbell. Pass was tipped by Eric Hedgeman. Hedgeman with the tip. It falls incomplete. And Iowa will take over. And they begin to celebrate here at Kinnick Stadium.
Purdue was in a shotgun formation. Tried to throw something over the middle there, but Hedgeman, big tall kid, knocks the ball down and forces the turnover, and Iowa's got the ball now, pretty much in control of the football game.
Campbell, 25 of 45 for 222 yards. First and 10 Hawkeyes, 5:43 left in the ball game. The Hawkeyes will pick up their second victory in a row here at Kinnick Stadium against the Boilermakers. Inside reverse, Ronnie Harmon across midfield. Ronnie Harmon down to the 42-yard line, brought down by Rod Woodson. But a great ad-lib that time by Ronnie Harmon. He saw that the hole was not open to this side, so he took it up the middle.
This is a counter play that they ran successful in the first half, except instead of going outside, Harmon cuts it up in the middle there and almost breaks it for the touchdown.
Hayden Fry said jokingly last week, Ronnie thinks he has to score on every play. Good attitude. First and 10 for Chuck Long. He's got it to Moritz, and Moritz goes down at the 27-yard line. So a gain of 15. Kennedy Wilson makes the stop on Dave Moritz.
This is a post pattern by Moritz. Long finds him and puts it in between the seam of that zone defense again, between those linebackers, and another Iowa first down.
First down, Iowa on the Purdue 26.
They give him to the 26-yard line, a gain of 16. 8 of 16 now long, 216 yards. First and 10, Hawkeye, high formation. Handoff will go to Phillips. Phillips dives across the 25, gets down to the 23. Chris Scott tripped him up. Don Baldwin also there. Gain of a little over 3. Give him 4 yards. It'll be second down and 6.
Iowa right now having success both running the football and throwing it. Just kind of dominating right now.
Purdue coming on the blitz. Long almost intercepted. Moritz had to alter his pattern that time as he recognized the blitz. Long thought he might go a little bit deeper and overthrew it.
Well, he has to throw this ball over the linebacker's head and wasn't able to do it. It was a short pass and put quite a bit on it, but Moritz wasn't able to make the catch.
So third down, the Hawkeyes need to cross the 17 down to the 16.5-yard line. Long will throw. Pass was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it falls incomplete. Pass tipped by Andy Gladstone. So it's going to be a fourth down situation, and Tommy Nickel with the field goal unit comes onto the field now. 4:12 left to play. Hawkeyes comfortably in front, 31-14. Trying to pad that margin. A 40-yard field goal attempt by Tommy Nickel. Right in the middle of the field for Tommy Nickel, 40 yards out. His kick is up, and it is no good. Wide to the far side. So the score remains Iowa 31, Purdue 14. 7 left. Purdue will go out of the shotgun now on first and 10. Ball at the 23-yard line. Campbell will throw. Complete. For a first down to David Rutherford. Nate Creer making the stop on Rutherford. You see immediately go to his position. And now he'll go off the field, replaced by Steve Griffin. First down completion by Scott Campbell. He moved his team very well, both on the ground and through the air in the first half, but then Iowa started blitzing and stunning and crossing up their defenses and really started confusing Purdue, and they have not reached pay dirt since.
I think some of those young kids now that are playing in there in place of those injured players are feeling a little bit more confident, and they're doing an outstanding job.
Here's Mel Gray. Gray always a dangerous runner. Up to the 45-yard line, a gain of 8. Eric Hedgeman makes the tackle. Mel Gray has to be very close to the century mark. We have him unofficially, 12 carries for 80 yards. Second down 2 after a gain of 8 by Mel Gray. 3:20 left in the ball game. Again, it's Gray, and he's tripped up in the backfield. I don't believe he has the first down. It's going to be very close. Larry Station right there. Some in the crowd here starting to leave. We called it the Umbrella Bowl, and hey, nobody put the umbrella on any of the offenses here. Now they got the first down, just barely. First and 10 Boilermakers at the 46-yard line. 2:50 left. Campbell, complete to Marty Scott. Eric Hedgeman makes the tackle. The linebackers trying to cover the tight ends. Another first down for the Boilermakers.
Drop back pass by Campbell, and Iowa is, what they're doing right now is they're making sure that no one gets behind them. They're going to give them the short passes. If they get down a little bit closer, look for them to start coming with some other people to shut them down.
Lloyd Hawthorne across the 35-yard line down to the 33. Devon Mitchell makes the tackle, but the clock continues to count down. 2:20 left. Iowa leads at 31-14. These teams have combined for just 7 points in the second half after an offensive show in the first half. Iowa came back from a 14-7 deficit. Second down 3. Rutherford had to come back for that pass, and he drops it at the 22-yard line, but the clock will stop with 2:03 left. Keith Hunter was on the coverage.
There again, we see that Purdue had some success moving the football, and as soon as they get down into Iowa territory, Iowa brought Station again on the blitz and forced Campbell to throw the ball before he was really ready to. It was underthrown there, and incompletion for Purdue.
Third down 2. Campbell, complete to Scott again. And Scott is stopped at the 21-yard line by Mike Stoops and Keith Hunter. There's no doubt that Campbell was going to Scott on that play because he watched it go out the whole way. Saw him make his turn, and as soon as he did so, he fired the pass, was right on the money for the first down. 1:49, and the clock continues to roll now after the markers have been moved up. Campbell to the end zone, incomplete, intended for Jeff Price. Price runs a little flag route, corner of the end zone, and the pass just a little bit overthrown. You can see the disgusted look that Campbell gives you. Very upset with himself. He felt that he had the man there. Clock stops with 1:38 left. Scott Campbell. Hand off to Mel Gray. Gray pick up just 4 yards before he's hit by Eric Hedgeman. And Purdue will finally exhaust one of their timeouts with 1:27 left. They have 2 remaining. And Campbell has attempted 50 passes. 50 passes for 260 yards. He's completed 28 of them. But the important statistics are on the scoreboard. 31-14 Iowa. And some happy black and gold Hawkeye fans who came to this ball game in a downpour. I want to tell you, it was coming down hard right before kickoff, and in the first few minutes of this ball game, neither team was able to move the football in the first few minutes, but then it stopped raining, and I tell you, everything broke loose offensively. Both teams scored on the next two possessions as Iowa tied it up at 14. Then Purdue started to make mistakes. Turned the ball over on an intercept. Iowa went ahead for good on a 47-yard field goal by Tommy Nickel. And then they ran the punt back by freshman Robert Smith. That was the turning point of the ball game. And Iowa went up 24-14. They now lead at 31-14. 1:27 left. Third down, 5 for the Boilermakers. Campbell looking at the end zone. He's in trouble. He'll be sacked. Jeff Drost, the freshman. Jeff Drost comes in with the big sack back at the 26-yard line.
This is a shotgun formation by Purdue. Iowa has the receivers very well covered, and Drost gets off the block and makes the tackle. And he had been playing on the left side in place of Paul Hubbard, but for some reason or other, they moved him over to the right side and was very effective on that play.
Fourth down, 15 now. Campbell. Incomplete pass. It was trapped by Price. It would not have been enough for a first down anyway. So with 42 seconds left, the Hawkeyes get the football back. So Purdue moves the football very well down to about the 20-yard line, but they cannot do anything from that point on in. And Tom Grogan now will rest Chuck Long. Final numbers that we have on Chuck Long, 8 of 18 for 216 yards. And Tommy Grogan now at the control. And he'll roll and run out the clock. Look at this. He's got the first down, and he's wrestled out of bounds at the 40-yard line. So Grogan picks up 13 on a first down carry, knocked out of bounds by Mel Menke. Clock stops with 35 seconds left.
Tommy Grogan tries to run the roll out there. I think this was a designed play for him to run the football, and was able to get good yardage, breaks the contain, and does pick up the first down.
Senior backup quarterback Tom Grogan of Kansas City, Kansas. Did an outstanding job. First and 10 Hawkeye. Trey Jackson the ball carrier. Trey Jackson tripped up to the 45-yard line. Purdue might just let the clock run out right now. Been a big victory for the Hawkeye. Turn the tide on the Purdue Boilermakers, who seem to control them for so many years, both here and in West Lafayette. The Hawkeyes have now won twice in a row over the Boilermakers in Kinnick Stadium. Final seconds of this ball game. Grogan with an inside handoff to Sinnott. And that's the ball game. The Iowa Hawkeyes defeat the Purdue Boilermakers 31-14. I'd like to say thank you to my spotter, my wife Joanne Hogue, to my statistician Brian Sines, and of course Bill